It's the first Sunday after Christmas, and you are tired. Your nerves are still mending from your visit with relatives you've never particularly enjoyed spending time with. Your credit cards have been maxed out because once again you went overboard with gift giving. You never want to see a shopping mall again for the rest of your lives. And your blood pressure is just now beginning to inch downward again, now that you are no longer forced to endure the holiday road rage you have dealt with over the past several weeks. And your pastor is tired too. Throughout the holidays, I have dealt with an uncommon number of people who are emotionally depressed and in financial binds. I feel like Santa, with the help of several elves, having delivered food and toys to an untold number of people. I gave my best shot at telling a 2,000-year-old story in a way that is fresh, innovative, and meaningful. I have spent my time off creating end-of-year reports and setting up for the new year with more organizations than just this church. And I have spent too much time worrying and praying about the church's budget, which will fortunately end in the black, thanks be to God and your generosity. Yes, your pastor is tired too. But you and I aren't the only ones who are tired. In this morning's gospel reading, Mary and Joseph are also tired. The shepherds and heavenly hosts are all gone now, and our new parents wonder if maybe it wasn't just all a dream. It's been 40 days since Jesus was born, and like most new parents this morning, they stumble into the temple bleary-eyed from lack of sleep because the baby keeps waking up at night. They are tired. And they wonder if maybe they really aren't cut out for this parenting thing after all. And in fact, when this gospel account first began to circulate with ink that had hardly had time to dry on the papyrus, the people who were its reading audience were also very tired. You see, over the centuries, Israel had found itself subject to Babylon, Assyria, Persia, the Greeks, and now Rome. Taxes were impossibly high, and probably most significantly was the recent destruction by the Roman Empire of their temple in Jerusalem, which was the very symbol of God's presence to the Jewish people. The Jewish people were tired. Everyone. You, I, Mary, Joseph, the first readers of Luke's gospel, all of us are tired. It's been a tough year for many of us, with its twists and turns, its surprises and hardships, and we're all in need of a healthy dose of hope and encouragement. We're all looking to be blessed. But as tired and weary as our new parents, Mary and Joseph, were, they still made a point of fulfilling the law. They had come to Jerusalem to offer a sacrifice and present their baby for dedication. Even though Joseph had a migraine, Mary was sleep deprived, and baby Jesus was spitting up all over the place, they were determined to offer their sacrifice. And after having fulfilled their obligations to the law, they received a surprise from a couple of strangers. They were starting to get used to this sort of thing. Surprises were beginning to be the norm for Mary and Joseph ever since the birth of Jesus. First the angel's song, then the shepherd's surprise appearance, and now this. A kindly-looking man who simply snatched the baby from Mary's arms and began babbling. And if that wasn't one for the books, his words certainly were, for they were medicine for a weary soul. both the parents and the reading audience of the gospel. Because you see, Jesus was described as a light for revelation and for glory. He was being tied to God's plan of salvation for all people, both Gentiles and Jews. Jesus was receiving a big-time blessing from a stranger. And as if to confirm and validate that blessing, a local prophet and holy woman was accosting any stranger who would pause long enough to listen to her that the baby was the answer to everyone's prayers who hoped for the redemption of Jerusalem. It was a new day, a day of hope and promise for the people of Israel. And that hope rested in this bundle of joy who had not 1 hour earlier been spitting up on Mary's shoulder. It's a new day for you and me too, regardless of how tired you may be. No matter if last year wasn't all you had hoped it might have been, it's a new day. Now, the dawning of that new day for Mary and Joseph started out with a sacrifice. They were too poor to afford a lamb for the sacrifice. So according to law, they offered up 2 turtle doves instead. Your and my new day also needs to begin with a sacrifice. Before we can move into a future with hope, we need to be willing to let go of something. We need to let go of the past. We need to let go of resentments and grudges that prevent us from moving forward. This is our holy sacrifice. It's something we offer to God. You should have in your hands a green slip of paper for you to write on it anything you would like to hand over to God. Any jealousy or resentment, any grudge, guilt, or judgmental attitudes of others or yourself, any shame, regret, fear, or control issues you may have been holding on to. Anything that's keeping you from a full and complete relationship with God and with others. Anything that blocks you from a life of complete and utter freedom and joy. After you write on that paper what you're willing to let go of, you can place it in the basket that's at the back of the sanctuary before you leave today. And after worship, I'll burn the slips outside on the steps of the church as a sort of burnt offering, a symbol of our willingness to turn it over to God. You're welcome to witness it if you like. It was only after Mary and Joseph offered their sacrifice that they were finally open to receiving the blessing that was being offered by Simeon. And we can't hope to experience our own blessing without letting go of the things that block out the sunlight of God's Spirit. Yet even in his joy, Simeon's blessing was realistic. In prophesying that Jesus would be one that would be opposed, and in telling Mary she would also experience heartache, he recognized that the future would have its own share of sorrow, and ours will too. Sometimes you just have to be willing to experience the heartache if you're going to accept the blessing. It's a package deal. But the good news is that God will see us through the heartache, just as surely as God will offer us the blessing. A new year lies before us. A year filled with more laughter and tears and surprises than we can ever imagine. Mary and Joseph's surprising encounter at the temple wasn't the last surprise that they would receive. Their future would be filled with surprises, and so will yours and mine. Our futures will have our own share of joy and tears and surprises, and it will be good. In the end, all will be well. As Dame Julian of Norwich said, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. May it be well with you and your soul. May you find the courage to let go of the things that may be preventing you from experiencing a full life in God's love. And in that letting go, may you know a new freedom, one that you never imagined possible. May you know that God will carry you through both the good times and the bad, and may the upcoming year bring with it an abundance of blessing. Amen.